I am 69 years old, and I have a filing cabinet in my study, 4 drawers, 40 years of completed projects organized by quarter, color-coded by client, every deadline met, every delivered, not one day late in 4 decades. I was proud of that, genuinely, deeply proud. I also have a drawing my daughter Eleanor made when she was 7 years old, crayon on construction paper, a family portrait. Mum in the middle, big and bright, yellow hair, arms wide open. Her brother beside her, the dog at their feet, and then me at the far edge of the page, small, stiff, almost falling off the paper entirely. She was not being cruel. She was 7. She drew what she knew. She drew the truth. I found that picture in a shoebox last winter. Sat on the floor of a cold study next to a filing cabinet full of things nobody will ever read again, and I held it under the lamp for a long time. 40 years of perfect deadlines, and I could not tell you the name of a single one of them today, but I remember that drawing, every crayon line of it. Nobody held a gun to my head. I want to be clear about that. I want to be honest in a way I was not honest with myself for 40 years. Nobody dragged me out of my house at 6 in the morning and forced me to miss bedtime. Nobody chained me to that desk. Nobody made me take the Sunday calls and the holiday emails and the last-minute trips to cities that all started looking the same after a while. Gray carpets, drop ceilings, a minibar I never touched and a bed I barely slept in. I volunteered every single time. I volunteered with enthusiasm because the system does not need to force you. That is the genius of it. That is the part they never explain at the orientation. The system simply builds a world where the man who chooses the deadline over the dinner table is called dedicated, and the man who chooses the dinner table over the deadline is quietly, politely, professionally marked, passed over, edged out, handed the projects nobody else wants. So you learn, the way an animal learns, quickly and without being told twice. Deadlines were sacred, birthdays were flexible. A quarterly report had a hard due date stamped in red at the top of the page. A childhood had no such marking, no warning label, no countdown printed in bold, so I treated it like it was renewable, like there would always be another school play, another weekend, another summer, another chance to be the father I kept intending to become. The company understood time completely. Every hour was accounted for, billed, logged, measured against output. They knew exactly what a minute was worth. I did not apply that same precision to the minutes I spent at home, or more accurately, the minutes I did not spend at home, and real time, the kind that belongs to a child growing up in a house with a father-shaped hole in it. That time operates on a different system entirely. It does not wait for your project to close. It does not grant extensions. It does not accept late submissions. Eleanor did not stop growing because I was busy. She did not pause her childhood at the threshold of my home office door and wait patiently for me to finish. She grew up, fully and completely and without me, in the rooms I was paying for but not living in. The system rewarded me with a plaque and a salary and a reputation for reliability. My daughter rewarded me with a crayon drawing where I am standing at the edge of the page. Both of those things are true at the same time, and only one of them keeps me awake at night. Eleanor turned 16 on a Thursday. I remember it was a Thursday because I had a deliverable due Friday morning, a client presentation, 62 slides, 18 months of work compressed into a deck that needed to be perfect before 9 a.m. The next day, I was in a hotel room in another state, stiff pillows, air conditioning unit, the kind of room that exists purely to remind you that you are somewhere that is not home. My wife called at 7:30 in the evening. She had made Eleanor's favorite, lemon cake, the one with the yellow icing and the sugared flowers on top that took her the better part of an afternoon to make every year without fail. The candles were lit, the room was warm, everyone was around the table. She held the phone up so I could watch. 4 inches of screen, that is what I had. 4 inches of my daughter's 16th birthday, pixelated and slightly delayed, the audio half a second behind the picture the way it gets when the connection is not quite strong enough. Eleanor looked at the camera, she smiled, and that smile, God, that smile is the thing. It was not the smile of a girl surprised by joy. It was not the unguarded, unconscious smile of a child who does not know they are being watched. It was a performed smile, careful, practiced, the smile of a 16-year-old girl who has already learned over many years and many absences not to show disappointment in front of company. She had learned that from me. From my absences, children learn what they live with, and she had lived with my absence long enough to make peace with it publicly, gracefully, without a scene. My wife knew. I could see it in the way she held the phone. Steady, neutral, the specific steadiness of a woman who has absorbed too many of these moments to react to one more. I said happy birthday. Eleanor said thank you, Dad. The candles went out. Someone passed the cake. I went back to slide 44. I told myself I would make it up to her. A trip somewhere. A long weekend. Quality time, that hollow little phrase we use when we mean compensated time. Purchased time. The kind of time that arrives with guilt wrapped around it like a ribbon. The trip never happened. Something always came up. Eleanor is 33 now. She lives 4 hours away. She has her mother's laugh and her mother's patience and a quiet self-sufficiency that she built entirely on her own because she had to. Because the blueprint for leaning on your father was never made available to her. She calls on Sundays. She is warm. She is kind. She is by any measure a remarkable woman. She is also, in the way that matters most, someone I am still trying to introduce myself to. A hotel room and 62 slides, that is what I chose over a lemon cake with sugared flowers. I finished the presentation. The client approved it Monday morning with a 2-line email. I cannot remember the client's name. I am going to give you 3 tests. Not suggestions, not gentle reflections for your journal. Tests. Run them today with cold eyes and an honest heart, because the comfortable version of this conversation will not save you. And you did not click on this video for comfortable. The calendar autopsy. Go and find your calendar last month, the real one, the one with every meeting, every call, every deadline, every client lunch blocked out in color. Now take a pen and circle every entry that was for your child. Not near your child. Not in the same building as your child. For your child, their recital, their game, their school meeting, their dentist appointment that you actually attended. Circle every one. Now look at the ratio. The ratio between what you gave the company and what you gave the child does not lie. It does not care about your intentions. It only counts the hours. Most men who do this exercise cannot finish it. They put the calendar down. That is your answer right there. The first and last test. Ask yourself 2 questions. What is the first thing your child remembers about you? And what do you want the last thing they remember about you to be? Those 2 things should have some thread connecting them, some consistent truth running through the whole story. A child who grew up knowing their father was present, attentive, and safe will have a first memory that reflects that. If you cannot predict what your child's first memory of you is, if you genuinely do not know, that is not a small problem. That is the whole problem sitting right there in plain sight. The one who held the fort rule. Somewhere in your house right now there is a person holding everything together, packing the lunches, signing the permission slips, attending the parent-teacher meetings alone and explaining your absence with a phrase so rehearsed it comes out smooth. Keeping the machine running while you feed a different machine entirely across town. That person is paying a price you are not paying, and your child is watching who shows up every single day. They are building their definition of love from that daily evidence, not from your intentions, not from your salary, from who was there when the fever hit at midnight, from who sat in the hard plastic chair at the school office, from who turned the lights off last. You are writing the first chapter of how your child will love their own family someday. Read what you have written so far. If any one of those 3 tests just reached through the screen and grabbed you by the collar, good. That feeling is information. Do not swallow it. Do not explain it away with a busy week or a difficult quarter. Use it. Leave a comment below. Tell me which one landed. Tell me where you are in this right now. Because I promise you there are men watching this in the dark, alone, who need to know they are not the only ones sitting with this weight tonight. I want to talk about a word I hid behind for 40 years. Providing. It is a beautiful word. Clean, responsible, virtuous even. A man who provides is a good man, a serious man, a man doing what men are supposed to do. It sits in the chest like a warm coal. It gives you permission. It gives you cover. It gives you something to say at the end of a long night when the guilt starts moving around inside you like furniture shifting in an empty house. I was providing. I said it to my wife. I said it to myself. I said it in the mirror of every hotel bathroom in every gray city I passed through for 4 decades. I was providing. The mortgage was paid. The school fees were covered. The fridge was full. The family was taken care of. I believed it completely. But here is what I know now. Sitting on this side of 69 with a daughter 4 hours away and a filing cabinet full of things that never loved me back. Providing money without providing presence is not fatherhood. It is a financial arrangement, a subscription service. It keeps the lights on and the bellies full, and it does absolutely nothing for the thing a child actually needs from their father, which is not a roof, which is not a college fund, which is a witness. A child needs to be witnessed. They need someone to watch them figure out who they are becoming in real time, in the small, unremarkable moments that do not announce their own importance. The Tuesday afternoon when they discover they are funny. The rainy Saturday when they show you a drawing and watch your face to see if it is good. The quiet car ride when they say something so unexpectedly wise that you have to grip the steering wheel to hold yourself steady. Those moments do not repeat. They do not get scheduled into a later quarter. They arrive without warning and they leave the same way. And the only qualification required to receive them is simply being there. I was not there. I was providing, which felt like the same thing, which is absolutely not the same thing. A sponsor writes a check. A father shows up. Those are 2 entirely different acts, and a child's nervous system knows the difference before they have the language to explain it. They feel the difference in the body, in the particular way a room changes when the person who truly sees them walks into it. Eleanor did not need 62 slides completed on time. Eleanor needed me to be sitting at that table with the lemon cake and the yellow icing and the sugared flowers. She needed my eyes on her face, not on a 4-inch screen with a half-second delay. She needed a witness, not a provider. I gave her every material thing and withheld the one thing that cost nothing but time, and time, as I have told you, does not accept late payments. There is a version of success this world will sell you that looks exactly like what I built. The career, the reputation, the full filing cabinet, the clean record. It is a convincing product. It comes in good packaging. Other men will admire it. Strangers at dinner parties will ask you about it with bright eyes. Your child will draw you at the edge of the page. That is the verdict that matters. The only one that was ever going to matter, rendered in crayon by a 7-year-old girl who simply drew what she knew, not what I intended, not what I provided, what she knew. 1,000 weeks, that is all a childhood is. From the day a baby is placed in your arms, red-faced and furious and smelling of something ancient and holy, to the day they load a car outside your house and drive away toward their own life. 1,000 weeks. Write that number down, put it somewhere you cannot ignore it, on the bathroom mirror, on the dashboard, on the back of your hand if you have to, because that number is the only project deadline that has ever actually mattered in your life, and I guarantee it is the one you have been treating as optional. Now subtract the weeks you have already spent. If your daughter is 8 years old, you have used 416. You have 584 remaining. If she is 12, you have used 624. You have 376 left. If she is 15, do the arithmetic yourself and do it slowly. Let it land fully before you move on. Now ask the honest question, the one that requires a still room and a quiet mind and the specific courage it takes to stop lying to yourself. Of the weeks you have already spent, how many were you actually present for? Not home, not nearby, not in the next room with the television on, present, down on the floor, in the car asking real questions and waiting for real answers, at the kitchen table with your phone face down and your eyes up and your whole self pointed toward the small human being across from you who is trying to figure out who they are and watching you constantly for clues about whether they are worth paying attention to. How many weeks? Be honest. Nobody is watching. This is just you and the number and the quiet. Because here is what I know at 69 that I did not know at 35. The weeks do not feel precious while you are in them. That is the trap. That is the mechanism by which time steals from you without triggering the alarm. A Tuesday evening with a 7-year-old asking you the same question 4 times while you try to finish an email does not feel like a sacred and irretrievable gift. It feels like an interruption until it is gone, until the house is quiet in a way that has no bottom to it, until you are standing in a study at 2 a.m. holding a crayon drawing under a lamp and the 7-year-old is 33 and 4 hours away, and the question she asked 4 times is a question you cannot even remember, and you would give every completed project in that filing cabinet, every plaque, every commendation, every handshake from every gray-suited man in every beige conference room to go back to that Tuesday evening and put the email down. Just put it down, look up, answer the question, all 4 times she asks it. You still have that Tuesday evening. Some of you watching this right now still have it. The 7-year-old is still in the next room. The question is still being asked. The moment is still impossibly available to you. I am asking you to choose it, not tomorrow, not after the quarter closes, not once things settle down, because things do not settle down. They simply become the next set of things, and the weeks keep moving at their fixed and indifferent pace. Tonight, choose it tonight. Go and find your child wherever they are in that house. Sit with them, not to make a point, not to perform a better version of yourself. Just sit. Let them show you whatever they want to show you. The drawing, the video, the thing they built from blocks that means nothing to anyone on earth except the 2 of you in that room. Be the figure in the center of the page, not the small stiff shape at the edge, almost falling off, drawn by a child who simply recorded what she knew. Eleanor's drawing is in my study now, framed on the wall above the filing cabinet. I look at it every morning, not as punishment, as instruction. It tells me exactly what I built when I was not paying attention, and it reminds me every single day what the only deadline that ever truly mattered looked like. It looked like a lemon cake with sugared flowers on a Thursday evening. It looked like a 7-year-old girl watching the door, waiting for her father to come home early. Just once, if this found you at the right moment. If somewhere in these words you recognized your own house, your own filing cabinet, your own 4-inch screen held up at a birthday table, share this. Put it in front of the man who still has time, the one still climbing, The one who has not yet done the arithmetic of 1,000 weeks and sat with what it means. He needs to hear it before he is standing where I am standing, on this side of the crayon drawing.